Welcome to another episode of Forest Side Writing. For today's episode, this is going to be our third and final part of our vintage branded pen drawer. Now, as you can see from the previous parts and from this frame right now, there are quite a bit of variety here. So many different types of vintage pens, many of which are brand new. And so far we're getting quite a victory here, as most of them are actually writing despite their age. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to writing here and see which of these old pens write and which ones don't. Now, I guess this one wanted to go first. This is a Panda Bear mechanical pencil. It still has lead and it still writes. It's a very lovely pencil. Look at that. Okay, that is a yes. Here we have a nice little design pencil with stripes. I mean, not pencil, pen. With stripes. Nice click pen. Does it write? And that is a scratchy no. That does not write. Here's a vintage Pilot Razor Point. Looks like maybe a fine liner. Looks like it once wrote red. Still kind of writes, but I'm going to have to mark this one and no, it doesn't really work. And by the way, when I say no, it does not mean we're throwing them out. It just simply means they don't write or they don't write good. Here's a nice pen here. This was once a mop top pen that has a little character face, but that kind of broke off. Still writes. This is a nice little pen here in blue ink. Writes black, but blue body. Quite a bit left. This one's nice. Pen and Gear, green pen. This one's quite nice. Pen and Gear, 0.7. This one looks like it writes green. Oh, that writes. Very nice pen. That is a yes. Okay. Here's another Bic round stick grip. We've already seen quite a bit of these. That writes. This one's a beautiful looking one. Quite simple but colorful. Doesn't have any branding on it whatsoever, so if anyone knows, please drop us a comment. And it writes. This pen is old and it's still right. You can tell it's old. Writes in a beautiful sky blue. Look at that. Great. Here is another Papermate Flare pen. This is an older version. Yeah, that's all dried out completely. This one was hidden over here. This is the Slim Gel Roller Marvy, made in Japan. This one you could tell was made in the 90s. Yeah, that's completely dried up, unfortunately. It would be cool to have a silver ink pen. Here we have a nice Papermate Inkjoy 1.0 retractable that writes. Here's what looks to be one of those Cello Super Glide pens you can get from like the dollar store. But they're great. Look at that. It writes so smooth. What a great pen right here. This is a Bic Crystal. Seems to be the newer version. Oh, that writes great. The Bic Crystal pens write great. I agree with many of those who love the Bic Crystal. Here's a classic, another candy cane pen. That is very old and is completely drying out. Okay, here's a classic Bic round stick medium. That writes. How do you like that? I miss these type of Bics. Here we have a Papermate Profile mechanical pencil. Still has lead in it and the eraser. This one seems like it was pretty much unused. Great. Another one of these Uniball Vision Micro. Waterproof and fade-proof ink. Yeah, I guess you'd say that writes. Maybe it might be running out, but still writes really nice. These pens are great. Okay. Oh, this looks like a super old multicolor pen. Not a Bic, though. This just says Wannabe on it. Young Art Company, Ltd, made in China. So it's just some cheaper one. No name. I really like this one, though. Okay, none of the cartridges right. It's just super old. Fortunately, yeah, that's all drying out. If anyone can tell me any information, age, brands for the no-namers, that'd be extremely helpful. Here's a Papermate Wright Brothers pen. Writes very smooth. Another Soft Feel by Bic. Writes great. This is a Papermate Profile. Still has the original rubber tip, so that will 100% write, so it's going with the yes. Another Papermate Flex Grip. This one is very pretty. It is quite colorful. I think that's got to be a no. It didn't really write. Bic Atlantis. This one seems to be an older one with the see-through and clear grip. It's a yes. This is Wonder Writer. I have never heard of this. Looks like kind of a copycat Papermate Flare. Still enough to be a yes. That writes good enough. Pens are going through the table here. Okay, this one is a super worn crown pen that's probably broke. Still writes though. It's nice. Here's a black Bic Crystal. Seems to be almost out of ink, no cap. Still writes. Here's an advertising pen for Sheraton Hotels. That writes really good, despite being all sticky. Just the rubber gets worn down from age. Look at this little pocket pen, if you will. Very skinny and small. Writes great, though, in blue ink. No brand. Might have came with, like, a gift set or something. Got another Zebra BP Fine Point. That writes nice. Quite worn, though. Oh, this is an old one. The classic style Erasermate 2 with the eraser on the top. Now, if this writes, we should see how it erases. Probably none. And then it stopped writing, so it's a no. Here's a Jelly Roll pen again. These are cool. I like the way they write. Oh, that one started off good, but dried out, unfortunately. That's done. Here's a Papermate Flare Hardhead. Oh, okay. I don't know if Papermate actually made this one. I think it once wrote red, but now it's unfortunately done. Oh, a Pentel Energel Liquid Gel pen. This one's a capped version of it. It writes really smooth. This is 0.5. Great, you're doing great. This one's pure 90s. This is a Zebra J-Roller Medium 0.7 in yellow, but unfortunately that's all dried out. Okay, here we are. Now we've run into the old version of the Skillcraft US government pen. Of course, that still writes. It's pretty rare that you see a Skillcraft pen that doesn't write. Okay, we're getting down to the end here. Here's a Papermate Comfort Mate. This is definitely old. That still writes. Here we have another Pentec Retracto Brights pen. Once wrote purple, now it writes nothing. Still a cool pen. Another Uniball Vision Micro. Yep, that still writes. Good. Wow, this is old. This is the Pentel Milky Gel Roller. Completely dried. Yet another Jelly Roll pen. Wrote until it didn't. Here's a Zebra Z-Grip pen. These are quite popular. Great, that still writes. Good. Okay, oh wow, look at this one. This is an old Schaefer pen. Move our paper down a bit. That's done. Pilot G2 in red. That's done. Pilot Razor Point. That's done. I think the ones toward the bottom are just so old. Okay. Papermate Inkjoy again. There we go. Wait. There we go. Wanted to, and then it didn't. Okay. Here's an older Pentel Wow. Seems like it was used up. Yeah, that is... Oh, that is working. I thought I was going to say that is done, but that is working now. Here is what looks like a Flare copycat. I guess that's still a yes. It's kind of running out of ink, but it still works. Another Jelly Roll pen. What is going on with these Jelly Roll pens? They usually write so great, but they're just completely dried out, and they're not even so old. Here's just some no-name pen. Honestly, quite disgusting. It's just gonna... Yeah, that's a no. Okay. Papermate Flare, black ink. Not really that great, but it's still writing. Here's a Papermate Inkjoy, capped. Still writes very smoothly. It's a good pen. Zebra Z-Grip Medium, purple. Ooh, that looks nice. All right, everyone, we're almost there. Okay, let's see what we have next. We have a red Papermate Flex Grip pen. And that does not write. Look at this lovely looking design here. I like, oh, I love this one. Nice, and it's a good size. It's kind of smaller. It's really cool. I like that one. Writes in blue ink. Here's another vintage style Papermate medium. I'm dropping everything. Okay, there we go. That's a yes. That writes. Pilot Precise Rolling Ball. Does not write. Here's a Eberhard Faber Uniball Micro Gel Pen. Yeah, that's all dried out. That does not write. Papermate Wright Brothers pen. There we go. That's writing pretty nice. This is an older one too, and it still works. Here's another old Bic pen, quite similar to the Accountant. Still does not write. Here's one of these little push pencils. That's a yes. This looks like a laser pointer / flashlight pen, but still writes. Oh, the Scripto Erasable pen, black ink, USA. Does not write anymore, but still, this is a classic one right there. Here's a Pilot V-Ball pen. Don't really see too much of them anymore. That's a yes. Doing really good. Here we have a Staples brand pencil. Of course, the pencil will always write. Here is a Fisher brand pen in white. That's vintage, definitely does not work. Here's a Papermate Eagle pen, black ink. That's a yes. Writes really nice. Another Uniball Micro. Oh, that one writes really nice. Here it is, vintage pen fans. Another one of these classic style Bic pens. Sadly, it doesn't want to write. I don't think, yeah. Red wasn't, so none of these are going to work, but still a classic. Okay. Sanford Espresso again. That writes. A purple Uniball Vision. Let's hope this one writes. Yes, look at that. It's a pretty color. Another Pilot G207. As you can tell, that one is well used as well. Ooh, that one writes nice. Okay. Here's this leopard skin pen. Very cool looking. Like the design a lot. Oh, wow, that writes good. This one looks quite old, and it still seems to write good. All right, everyone. Here we are. We're getting the last maybe 10 to 15 or so out of the drawer. Okay, this is it. Let's hope we get a lot of yeses. Jelly Roll is a yes, which is good because earlier they've been not writing. Here's a Sharpie S Gel. Seems like it's brand new, nice and fresh looking. Writes nice. This is quite the collection here. Papermate Profile. That's a yes. This one is Blackfeet brand. Never heard of that. Marker. That still writes really nice. Looks like an old one too. Here's another classic style Skillcraft pen. It's a yes, which is great. Here's a Dixon wood pencil. Of course, the pencil will always write. Here's one of these pens you can wear on your neck. Looks like Christmas themed. We got some snowman. Still writes really good. Oh gosh, look at this novelty pen, the crazy face on the top. see if it still works. Fortunately, he doesn't write, but still a very cool design. Here's a Pilot Precise grip in pink. Oh, look at that. That writes great. We're really getting lucky with this group here. They're doing amazing. We're getting a lot of good daily driver pens out of this one. This is a Jelly Roll. Fortunately, it doesn't really write that great, so it's a no, it doesn't write. Luxor Sprint. I think that's an Indian company. Can't be dry. There we go. Right, really smooth. Oh wow, a zebra stripe pen, hence the brand. Zebra Z-Grip. Come on. Yes, it writes. Here's just some no-name gel pen missing a cap. That's done. Wow, this is quite an interesting one. This is a smaller pen too. Not sure who could have made that, but it does not write. Oh, here's another one of those U-Brands pens. We've already had one of them before. It writes really smooth still, although it's quite worn. This green one here is really catching my eye. Look at that. That's beautiful. That writes really nice as well. That's a gorgeous pen right there. We have a Universal Golf pencil. Of course, the pencils will always write. And to top it all off, our last one is a cigar pen, which is quite funny. Look at that. It doesn't write though, but it is super old. That's super cool. That's funny. Okay. Oh, we have one more. Pilot pen. Looks like someone wrote hi or their initials in there, something. Yeah, it doesn't really write. So everyone, let's do the final overview. Look at all of these pens that wrote. They're falling off the table. There's so many. There's another bag of these brand new quick pencils too. It's really interesting. What a great group we got out of this. But unfortunately, these guys didn't write. It does look like a lot, but they are scattered out. So I would say the yeses definitely won. All of these wrote too. Look at that. Gotta appreciate all these lovely pens. Well, overall, I think this was a win. I mean, look at all of these amazing pens now. A lot of these are going to go into the collection, and many of these great pens are just going to be great little tools to keep around our office to write with. So, in all, here are all of the ones that unfortunately did not write. And here are all of the pens that worked perfectly. What a win. And to be clear, these are the pens that did not write. None of these will get thrown out. They will be kept in the collection, as many of them are vintage, or refilled. So, none of these pens will get thrown out, and they'll be kept just as they are now. So everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And stay tuned for more amazing content just like this to come in the near future here on Forest Side Writing. Thank you. Goodbye.
We wrote a story where we knew thee, but you ripped it out. I do not feel like I've been torn apart, and I don't know why. We wrote a story where we knew thee, you ripped it out. I know it's not going to break my heart, I learned what it's all about.